certainly no alternatives. Yeah, let's get into that.
This morning I was on a call with CBS 60 Minutes, and this is all mostly to do with the Natal Sharks board. Also my new film, Monsters, which exposes the Natal Sharks board. And it's hard for me not to talk about this. And I'm just going to start sharing some thoughts, because it seems like every time I turn on Shark Week, they're featuring the Natal Sharks board. Like a character, a main character, the leading killers of white sharks in South Africa. Globally, really, as far as one organization wiping out great white sharks. These guys keep getting featured on Shark Week. And people that I know personally are standing there next to that piece of trash from the Natal Sharks board, just reading their scripts. As long as I'm on Shark Week, that's all that matters. And all you fucks standing next to him, smiling, are pieces of shit too. I'm sorry. What I'm trying to get to, one very basic topic. The primary excuse now from the Natal Sharks board to justify what they're doing is that there are no alternatives currently available. And if you don't know what I'm talking about alternatives to the methods that they currently have in place to quote unquote protect beaches, protect people. And again, Matt Dicken will play the victim and play the emotional argument. I'm out here trying to protect people. I'm worried about human life. You're worried about a paycheck, you piece of shit. And you sold out the wildlife in order to keep getting those paychecks. So, alternatives. Alternatives to what? Probably better cover some very basic questions such as that. Well, right now they have nets, basically fishing gear. You know, it captures things swimming in the ocean and kills them. And then there are the advanced version, human ingenuity, on full display in the form of drum lines, which are giant baited hooks hanging in the ocean. So more fishing gear that's existed for roughly as long as human beings have been creating tools. Great work, Sharks Board, which brings us to the Sharks Board's progress on alternatives. My response, the only response that will ever get us anywhere, is that we don't need alternatives. Now, for you to buy what I'm saying, you would have to have a deep understanding of the subject, the history, the statistics. Watch my film. I provide a lot of that, most of that, a lot of it. And what I'm presenting, when I say we don't need an alternative, is that the nets aren't even doing what they claim to be doing, but their cost, both financially and to ecosystems, to individual living creatures, the suffering of individuals, something that you don't even want to let your mind wander to, the damage to populations to such an extent that it's damaging populations to where the species is threatened. The Sharks Board wants to maintain this idea that there has to be something. Maybe it's not the nets, maybe it's not the drum lines, but there has to be something. And what I'm telling you is no, there doesn't. There doesn't have to be something, so don't let them fool you with this idea that, hey, hey, we would do better if only there was another way to do better. Nope. They're not interested in doing better, because doing better means actually protecting the environment and educating people that this is not the correct approach to coexistence. They're not interested in that, and I actually, in my film, spoiler alert, get them to accidentally admit on camera, oh yeah, well, if this goes away, we don't have jobs anymore. Anyway, let's get to the alternative that the Sharks Board has been dumping money into. An electric deterrent that they have been working on since the 60s and are as close to completion now as they were in the 60s. Something tells me that you're not trying that fucking hard. One of the reasons that I believe they're not trying that hard is that they know that the alternative that they are currently pursuing will not work there, because, as they call it, it's a high energy coast. So every time they deploy something or test, it's destroyed. And if it's not destroyed immediately, it'll be destroyed soon enough. It will not work. And yet that's what they have been pursuing since the 60s and are proceeding with. At some point, you got to stop arguing against me just because I'm trying to be the voice of reason, and say these things out loud to yourself. Just pretend you didn't hear the information from me if you don't like me presenting the information, and say this shit out loud to yourselves. Are you impressed that they haven't made any progress since the fucking 60s? And species are disappearing in the meantime while humans continue to be bitten at protected beaches? Protected. And I know your defeatist attitudes. Oh, well, if that's not the right solution, let's see what your solution is. I told you my solution. Start acting like the most intelligent species, you fucking spoiled, stupid pieces of trash. Don't go in the goddamn ocean if your mentality is such that I need everything here to have been wiped out so that I can have peace of mind bathing in a fucking ecosystem. Which is what every beach everywhere in the world is, unless you're in Las Vegas or some inland resort that is not actually touching the ocean. Speaking of which, you could actually just go in one of the saltwater pools built into the coast. If you're that goddamn scared of sharks, acting like the most intelligent species means doing what I did on a basic level. And that's not to try and give myself a compliment. It's just facts. Go and find out the truth. Think about what's happening. Think about the fact that these protected beaches don't work. Think about the fact that the very tools that are supposedly protecting you attract sharks. And those stupid sharks do exactly what they're supposed to do. Be attracted to bait on hooks or dead animals that have drowned slow, miserable deaths in those nets. And then the sharks come along, and then they die too, because they're sharks. And we put death in the ocean where they live. And you're putting these fucking people on Shark Week while talking about respecting the ocean and respecting ocean life and don't touch sharks because it's disrespectful. But you can wipe out entire species so that these assholes on TV continue to have a job.